This episode is brought to you by Endless Comics, Games, and Cards. Whether you are a dedicated Wednesday warrior or looking for the latest drop of TCG or sports cards, Endless Comics, Games, and Cards has you covered. While Endless is known for their large collection of both single-issue comics and library of graphic novels, not to mention their monthly comic book club, they also stay fully stocked with singles and sealed product for Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and many others. What's the best part? You can set up a pull list online at endlesscgc.com and they'll send your books to you. So head on over to endlesscgc.com or check them out on social media at endlesscgc.
Hey, this is Daniel Warren Johnson, creator of books such as Murder Falcon, Extremity, Wonder Woman Dead Earth, and Beta Ray Bill, and you're listening to the Oblivion Bar Podcast.
Welcome to the Oblivion Bar Podcast with your host, Chris Hacker and Aaron Knowles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 224 of the Oblivion Bar Podcast. I am Chris Hacker, one of your co-hosts here, and joining me, of course, is my BFF, Aaron Knowles.
What up, bitch?
Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the Oblivion Bar Podcast.
I want you to bleep that.
You want to bleep out the bit? I mean, we curse constantly on the show. So.
I know, but I want that one specifically to be like, you know.
Okay, all right, I'll do that.
I'm just giving you extra work.
There we go. All right, everybody, welcome back. Of course, this week on the show, as we do, Aaron, each year, going into the new year, we talk about our most anticipated films of the next year, which is what we're going to be talking about this week. It's one of my favorite episodes each year, and I know that often it goes long. And I anticipate, Aaron, that this episode will also go way too long.
Absolutely, because I'm going to be distracted as fuck, and I just, because I just had it. Wouldn't it be funny if we had an episode, like an entire episode, where it was like bleeping every curse word? Like a PG-13 or like a PG episode. So much work for you, unless there's like a tool that you can use in like Riverside to bleep all the curse words.
No, unfortunately, that would be a manual input. That'd be something I have to go in there and do myself. It is funny because like on Apple Podcasts, it asks you like, is your podcast explicit? Do you use curse words? And I put no, because the moment you put yourself in that sort of party of like a quote unquote explicit podcast, then they loosen your reach, or they put you in a smaller group of people.
Oh, they like less it, they reduce it.
Yes, yeah. So we're not doing all that. Sorry, buddy, you're gonna have to get the explicit version.
That shouldn't even be like a question anymore, because I've started working in after school programs teaching like drones and 3D modeling, and those kids are fucking foul mouthed.
Yeah, of course
they are.
Cursing is not. It's not a thing. It's not as taboo as it was. I know growing up. This is a weird tangent as we get into the show, everybody. But I was a pretty good kid.
Told you.
The one thing, my mom could attest to this. The one thing I just wouldn't do in front of her for very long, until eventually I got into the Army, was I wouldn't curse in front of her. Like I just refused, because that to her, it was very important to her that like I just didn't do that. It was sort of a showcasing of respect, right? And now we're cursing like sailors in front of each other. So anyway, everybody, we're getting to this week's episode, which again should go pretty long. We apologize in advance. But Aaron, you mentioned before the recording here that you wanted to bring something up as soon as we open the show. So the floor is yours, my friend. What do you have?
Okay, so I think we talked about this a little bit on the grid, but like I'm on a new mission as cost effectively get the original starter final evolutions from Pokemon.
Okay, yeah,
okay, for the TCG, from the TCG. So the base set original Pokemon. So I finally got my first one, and it is a Blastoise. Clearly, I had to get Blastoise. Squirtle was always my pick. So this is a CGC certified guaranteed company. I guess one.
It's a one.
It's a base set, 1999 holo #1. But I love it especially because it so perfectly fits my role in this collection, and it just says above the one, it just says poor.
So I guess to better expand on this idea that Aaron's doing here, essentially what he's trying to do, I think, and Aaron, you correct me if I'm wrong, is that you want to collect like the worst version of some of the most rare Pokemon cards you can find.
Exactly. I want to do it, and I wanted to, and I love the fact that I'm just going to call it the poor collection.
Yeah, there we go. I love it. That is a niche within a niche, and that's what we do here, everybody. That's
yes.
sort of a good encompassing idea here on the podcast. So while we're on that topic, as we get into the holidays, we're in the holiday season, Aaron. Go ahead and tell the people at home how they can support the podcast and also how they can gift a nerdy friend, a really fun extra episode each week.
Well, I mean, you can support the podcast by going to our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you consider checking out the Patreon. Just consider it, please. For the band. For your support, you gain access each week to a bonus episode called The Grid. You get a behind the scenes look at how we prepare each episode with episode transcripts, Patreon polls, a whole bunch of exclusive goodies. Like, you get some really cool stuff, and we love sending out free stuff. Chris sends out packages, stickers, all these things. Just, for signing up, and you can give it a shot with a free 7-day trial at patreon.com/Oblivion Bar. You can send that link to other people. You can gift them a membership. It's like bring a friend. It's like Planet Fitness, except you might get sweaty.
Yeah, you might. I mean, and it's also judgment free, right?
Yes, it is judgment free. We don't kink shame.
That's right.
We are an open door to everything. Bring them along. Have a conversation afterwards.
And grunting is allowed in the Grid. You can grunt if you want.
I have been watching a lot of Tool Time or Home Improvement. You call it.
All right, everybody. Let's now that, again, as Aaron said, go check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Oblivion Bar Pod. Enough of that shameless plugging. Let's get
into what you get in the Grid, by the way.
It's a lot of shameless plugging. Yes. Let's get into our news and notes.
News and notes.
Our news and notes segment is sponsored by Oni Press. If you're craving for comics that defy the ordinary and a publisher that not only allows but encourages its creators to tell their stories the way they want to, look no further than Oni Press, the loudest thing in color since 1997. Check out their upcoming titles over at onipress.com or follow them on social media at Oni Press. Big shout out to Oni Press for sponsoring the podcast. So,
hell yeah. Aaron,
one major piece of news happened this past week that I felt very obligated to talk about here on the podcast, and that is Netflix. I was going to try to find a funny way to spin this title, but there really is honestly no real funny way to spin it. Netflix proposes to buy Warner Brothers Discovery for $82.7 billion. So under the effort nicknamed Project Noble, the streaming giant leadership secured a $59 billion financing goal from a group of banks to assemble this deal. Netflix's attempt here is to acquire only the film and television studios. That includes HBO Max and HBO. This would combine the libraries of the number 1 streaming service, Netflix, and the number 3 streaming service, HBO Max, into one service.
What's number 2?
Probably Amazon Prime, I would imagine. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I would guess that's what it is. This deal will follow WBD's global network division, Discovery Global, spinning out into a new publicly traded company. This includes companies like CNN, TNT, HGTV, and Discovery Plus, a move that is now expected to happen in Q3 of 2026. This will officially separate Warner Brothers from Discovery into 2 separate companies once again, just under the same media umbrella. Bunch of corporate jargon for basically, hey, it's basically like what Disney and Fox, 20th Century Fox, what they did. Like Disney and 20th Century Fox are 2 separate companies, but they are owned under the same umbrella. So I guess, Aaron, before we go any further, were you tracking any of this? Did you see this on your timeline? I imagine our algorithms are relatively the same. So what were your thoughts when you saw this?
This has been on my feed for days, leading up to it. I think I was noticing, and I was listening to news about it recently in the previous weeks, even Netflix like looking into submitting this purchase agreement. I'm of 2 minds.
Okay.
The first one is things like this shouldn't happen. These are 2 major streaming services. And to me, all that's going to happen is you're going to get them combining and then just jacking up the prices even more, because now you have basically building a monopoly on streaming content. You and I have talked about multiple times about owning physical copies of things. Like people just go out. I don't care if it's cassette tapes, CDs, if it's
8-track,
laser discs, go buy physical media, because we are heading right into the downfall of property ownership. It's getting so bad.
I hate that we have to like kind of play the role of like modern conspiracy theorists when it comes to entertainment. Like that feels very conspiracy theory to say, hey, go buy all your physical media, go to your buy, sell, trade and buy your copy of The Hangover, like whatever. But you have to. They already were doing it before all this was happening. Like Warner Brothers, under the leadership of David Zaslav, which we'll talk about that dumb motherfucker here in a moment. All he has done has been to consolidate, give himself more power, consolidate, give himself a pay raise, consolidate. Like he keeps doing this, and then he split Discovery and Warner into 2 separate companies. They've changed HBO to 4 separate names, the streaming service at least. So like, as you said, this was been sort of in the works. There was a leader in terms of buyer for a long time, like for the past like 6 to 8 months. Most of 2025 there was one company that was like gonna buy Warner Brothers. And it was like almost set in stone until the last second. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But yeah, as you said, this is essentially the makings of a monopoly. And I don't know how many people are privy to this, but like in Hollywood, for a lot of times, the way that actors and directors and just actually folks that worked on a property, on a TV show or a movie, the way that they made money was residuals. That you got a very small check each month if like Shawshank Redemption played a certain amount of times on TNT, But like with streaming, that no longer exists. Everybody just goes onto their streaming service, clicks a button and watches the thing, whatever's in front of them, right? And now that you have one company owning 2 large, one of the most historic studios of all time in Warner Brothers, the WB Water Tower is synonymous with cinema. Like it's one of the first things you think of. And now that Netflix, a company that, again, as we'll talk about as we go on, is a company that they firmly do not value that at all. Like that history of it all, they're all about consumerism and the consumer. Like that's all they care about, getting it to you as quickly as possible for the most amount of money for the shareholders. I'm going to shut up and let you continue on with your thought, Aaron, before I go on.
No. I mean, my only thought was, and I'm just thinking back to Westworld.
Yeah, Westworld's a great example. Yeah,
Westworld to me is a perfect example because it was such a great show. And you can't even find it really on any streaming service anymore. And this is one of those situations where I think that right there, when Westworld was removed from all streaming services, just removed from HBO, all that, I think that was for me was a big catalyst for me to go out and start buying like the seasons and the shows, like movies that I want to make sure that I could watch without having to find specific sources or streaming services to watch it on. And now I own things like all of Supernatural. I own things of like every single season of Smallville. Just my favorite stuff. Chris, I know you're doing something similar. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a scary time again when you look into this, because I'm trying to remember it might have been this Laszlo guy. It might have been somebody doing like a little social media post or something about them talking about how, quote unquote, people don't want to go to the movies anymore. They want to watch stuff at home.
We'll talk about it. It's Ted Sarandis. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's not the fucking case. But again, you're right. Netflix, in my opinion, I know this is going to sound, we talked about conspiracy theories a moment ago. I know this is going to sound crazy.
We're the crazy ones now.
But consider COVID changing the market strategy for movie studios to enable people to go to movie theaters and act like complete asses. Mm-hmm. And then for media platforms to just run that shit 24 hours a day, showing how crazy it is to go to the movies. And now people don't want to go to the movies. So companies like Netflix and streaming services can jack up their prices because people just don't want to deal with the bullshit at movie theaters anymore. They don't want to deal with the high prices. They don't want to deal with the intrusive people who don't give a shit, who are inconsiderate. Stay home. Oh, well, let's just jack up the prices of streaming services, but not let them own it.
Yeah. Here's the other dark future that we're headed towards as well, is that if Netflix owns all of WB, and again, as you said, if you want a physical copy of something, that way you own it, then that's something you can do right now. But in the future, if this deal eventually goes through, and we should probably say at the beginning here is that like this has not fully gone through. This is a proposed buy. There are going to be a ton of legal hurdles for Netflix and co to jump through in order to get this deal done. This is obviously the administration to do that because the legality of things doesn't really exist to them. But my point is that right now we have the luxury of going out and buying things that we like. But if Netflix is known for this, they don't put things in physical media. You can't buy movies and television series of Netflix properties in physical form. They don't believe in that either. If Netflix owns everything, Imagine 2028, 2029, when this deal goes through, if it does, the newest Harry Potter movie or whatever, Harry Potter series, I guess is what's going to be upcoming. You have to watch on Netflix. You have to buy the HBO channel to watch the new Harry Potter series. And it won't be out in physical media because they don't do that. And it won't be out in movie theaters because they don't do that either. So like they are creating, they're pocketing our entertainment. And, you know, Disney, they're their own devil. We'll talk about them eventually. But like at the very least, they put out physical media. Aaron, I would love for you to read this next part because I feel like this kind of talks about what we're talking about here and it sheds a little more light.
So many in Hollywood are fearful of the deal, with theater owners group Cinema United saying in a statement overnight that the proposed acquisition of Warner Brothers by Netflix poses an unprecedented threat to the global exhibition business. I apologize to the listeners if it sounds like I have a cold. I'm getting over a cold.
You got that Scarlett Johansson raspy going on right now. Yes. It's really hot.
Was it Marshall Mathers? In its announcement of the merger, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos said Netflix expects to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strength, including theatrical releases for films. The key word in that sentence, however, is expects. Netflix's current strategy is to release films on its platform either exclusively or with a very short theatrical release, mostly to qualify for Oscar nominations. So they're basically doing it only to bid for awards. Warner Brothers, on the other hand, is home of box office juggernauts like DC Studios films, Harry Potter, the Minecraft franchise, Lord of the Rings, Wizard of Oz franchise, and many, many others. Theater owners are not alone in the industry in fears of the impact of the possible merger. On December 4th, a group of anonymous Hollywood film giants, rumors has it that the list includes James Cameron, Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, and even Steven Spielberg, sent a letter to Congress with grave concerns about the potential deal. Netflix views any time spent watching a movie in theaters as time not spent on their platform. Yikes. The letter said, as reported by the New York Times, they have no incentive to support theatrical exhibition, and they have every incentive to kill it. Even if Netflix keeps releasing Warner films in theaters, the schedule may not be exactly the same way it is now. In a call with media analysts after the deal was announced, Sarandos said, I think the windows will evolve to be much more consumer-friendly to be able to meet the audience where they are quicker, aka 2 weeks or less in theaters before premiering on Netflix. And honestly, I feel like that's just even maybe because Netflix is going to... So I see that one of the biggest obstacles here that Netflix is trying to really fix, but also like take advantage of monetarily, is the reason that people pirate films because they don't want to go to the theater. Like there is a large crowd of people that does not want to go to the theater because they don't want to spend the money. So they will do everything and anything they can to pirate a film. Netflix is trying to stop that by getting the movies on their streaming service quicker so that they can make more money.
I can promise you that piracy is not going to stop with Netflix getting all
absolutely
of
not going to stop.
It's
going to increase even more
100%.
Because people are going to cut off their. Because here's what's I guarantee here's what's going to happen right now. Does Netflix their lowest tier shows ads?
Yes, and it's 720p. It's like 720p and ads is the lowest tier.
Yes, I guarantee you that will change.
Oh, you're 100% right. The price is what's going to change. That's the reason why piracy will continue is because people don't want to spend. Here's the thing. If Netflix ends up buying this and this goes through, they're going to make HBO or HBO Max or whatever they call it. They're going to make that a channel. They're basically trying to recreate the cable format, right? They're going to
like Apple TV does.
Exactly. Yeah. And Disney is doing the same thing with Hulu. Like they want to make Disney Plus your streaming app and you get Hulu, you get ESPN, you get ABC. For Netflix, you get HBO, you get they're doing is it UFC? No, I think Paramount Plus is doing the UFC and sports. And they're all trying to gather up as much property as they can. That way when they jack their price up to $42.99 for $7.20 with ads, you'll be like, well, I guess I do kind of want to watch the new Lord of the Rings series and I wouldn't mind watching my favorite team play on Sunday. And also there is that new Oscar movie that's starring Mikey Madsen and Bradley Cooper. Like all these scenarios, they're looking at that and going, how do we box people into paying the amount of money we want them to pay? Right. That's exactly what's going on here. And it's fortunately, a lot of us are privy to this. And I kind of feel like this isn't going to happen. Before we get into this last bit, Aaron, I'll just say I don't think that this is going to go through.
Yeah, there's already questions about antitrust and monopoly issues. Like that's the problem, and I mean that it is a real fear.
Yeah, there's like 4 people who benefit from this merger. Everybody else loses in some way. Like it's like David Zaslav of Warner Brothers, Ted Sarandos and his co-CEO, who I can't think of right now, and it's like the owner of Warner Brothers, who I also can't think of right now. It's like those fucking old white dudes who get a pay raise. Everybody else, including all of Hollywood, loses, and the consumer. Like the consumer,
You lose.
like this is so fucking dystopian, just horribleness.
Blood in the water. I want my brother.
Aaron, we have to talk about this part as well. Politics has played a key role in protracting this sale, of course. As many people can imagine here, the White House will soon talk about this. I don't think Trump has said anything quite yet, but of course he has a strong tie to the Ellison family, who bought Skydance and Paramount. Actually, they own Skydance. They bought Paramount a couple months ago. Paramount has also had extreme interest. As we said earlier in this conversation, Paramount was the leader to buy Warner Brothers Discovery for a bit. Like they were the ones that were like, quote unquote, supposed to own this, right? And after this announcement came, they argued that there was only they were one of the 3 offers with the clear path of getting this through antitrust, and they actually published a public letter that basically showcases that the rival offers to Netflix and Comcast both present serious issues that no regulator will ever be able to ignore. Paramount has said that it believed Netflix, being the dominant streamer in the U.S. and globally, would face major antitrust hurdles adding HBO into the fold, as we've said. But it's not like Paramount and Skydance are much better. They're doing the same exact thing. They're just mad that for some reason Ted Sarandos and co. were able to get this deal done. So, Aaron, I don't know how much there's to offer in this conversation outside of what we've already said, but I felt this important to bring up for 2 major reasons. A, this is crazy. This should not happen. This should not go through. And we're about to talk about our most anticipated films of next year, of 2026. There's another wild scenario, Aaron, that I forgot to bring up while we're talking about this, is that like, if this deal doesn't go through, and again, I don't think it does, at the very least, Netflix has bought themselves 2 years of Warner Brothers not doing anything, of HBO not doing anything in terms of like selling off. Like they can hold this sell for at least 2 years. And this increases, they're already at number 1. They're the most popular streaming service in the world. So at the bare minimum, if they don't end up being able to acquire Warner Brothers, which again, if this happens, oh my God, everybody, this is bad news. If it ends up not happening, at the very least, they were able to stunt the growth of Warner Brothers and Discovery for 2 whole years. That's huge. That's like, this will put Warner Brothers and the HBO Max, we'll call it. This will stunt their growth, which will essentially end the streaming wars regardless. Like there is no coming back from that for Warner Brothers. They will have to sell regardless. This basically promises their sell to someone. Do you want it to be Netflix, number 1, or do you want it to be the folks in the back pocket of Trump at Paramount and Skydance? It's basically a lose-lose, everybody. So we just want to throw some bad news on your plate to start this episode, and then we'll get into some good stuff. So Aaron, anything else before we move on from this?
I don't think there's much else to say, and I won't go on a long tangent. All I will say is go buy physical media. Just, I mean, if you're not doing it already, which, you know, most of us are collectors, go buy physical media. Go buy your Blu-rays, go buy your steel cases, go buy whatever that entices you, but make sure that you get a copy of the things that you love watching, because A, this is going to change so much going forward in the future of streaming, period.
Mm-hmm.
Cinematically, like theatrical releases, period, as well as you should have been doing this already, because I mean, we've talked about this for a while on the show going back. They are still changing stuff. They are still editing scenes, and they are still adding and removing scenes and things and important stuff based on your geographical location, based on your the politics going on in the country that you are in. So if you want untouched media, go buy physical, because that way they have no control over it.
We need to change our view of ownership, I think, as consumers. You know, I say consumers as like sort of jest, but like truly, I mean, we are. Like, Aaron, as 2 folks in this space who love talking about IP. I mean, I think the majority of movies and things we talk about are Marvel, DC, Star Wars, what have you, right? This is not good. I guess I feel like we could continue on. And again, as someone who loves going to the movies, this past weekend, I went to go see Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair at the Alamo Draft House here in Indy. and then I went to go see The Dark Knight in 70 millimeter. I don't know if those two opportunities exist in 3 years. I mean, I don't know if like, does Netflix, because Netflix owns both of those films as of now, like again, eventually, right? Like, I don't know if they officially own it now, but like the Weinstein company is owned by Warner Brothers. I think I might be wrong there. I don't know if you know that, Aaron, but for sure, The Dark Knight is owned by Warner Brothers, and like
It is, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say I think it is, but I could be wrong. But point being is that like
all the Batman films are like on Warner Brothers and on like HBO, like they have their own Batman collection. So
I was
it's
talking mostly
iconic,
about Kill Bill, like the
I'm
Weinstein
sorry.
company. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is owned by Warner Brothers. So anyway, everybody, let's get on some better topics. I guess mostly better because there are going to be some stinkers in this list that we don't really want to talk about. Aaron, what were you going to say?
Two choices: buy physical media, get a library. Well, just don't even. This isn't a choice. Do two things: buy physical media, get a library card, and buy more books.
Yes.
Okay, that's end of story. End of
Totally.
story.
So I was talking to a friend. This is the last thing I'll say. I was talking to a friend the other day, and they asked me about this, and I was like, the pessimist in me, everybody, you've been hearing it for the last 30 minutes. This isn't good, but the optimist in me, and someone who is still hopeful for a better tomorrow. Gosh, that sounds even corny saying it. As it left my lips, I thought, wow, that's corny. But like, I truly believe that. I could never, like, if they stop making movies, television, video games, comic books, books, everything, if they stop music, if they stopped today, you, me, everybody, we would not have enough time in our lifetime to go through and like truly appreciate all of the stuff that's already been released. So like, if like 10 years from now, if we don't like the way Hollywood is formatted, Aaron, you and I, we could literally just stop. We could vote with our wallet and stop ingesting what they're putting out. And we would still have plenty of things to fill our time with in terms of media. Plenty. So
I plan on just reading because I have way too many books that I still haven't gotten to.
it'll make this conversation, this like show, if this podcast is still going 10 years from now, it'll make this show a lot less current. Like, we're not going to be able to talk about Avengers 7, but we could go back and talk about Age of Ultron again and talk about how that movie is slightly misunderstood in some ways.
Let's just keep doing MCU watch throughs.
All right, everybody, that'll do it for our news and notes this week. Thank you again to Oni Press for sponsoring that segment. Let's get into our most anticipated films of 2026. Before we do that, though, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. This January, Oni Press proudly presents Spirit of the Shadows #1, the most visually dazzling and hauntingly heartfelt superhero horror hit of 2026. A stunning new 5-part series drawn from the darkest recesses of the imagination of co-writers Nick Cagnetti and Daniel Ziegler, and featuring the first full-length artwork by Cagnetti since his electrifying debut with 2022's Pink Lemonade.
Eric LaRoe was a mortal musician until his sudden death plunged his soul into the carnival-like torments of the spirit world beyond our own. Now, reborn as a phantom, Eric will claw his way back from the infernal planes and avenge the dark sins that transformed him into the Spirit of the Shadows.
In the tradition of Jack Kirby's The Demon, Mike Allred's Madman, and Todd McFarlane's Spawn, Spirit of the Shadows is an eye-popping new addition to the canon of creator-owned superheroes. Find it in comic shops everywhere this January, only from Oni Press.
Main topic.
Alrighty, let's talk about our most anticipated films of 2026. Everybody, this will be, I guess, Aaron, a mostly condensed list of just films that we are either somewhat interested in or very interested in. And I think broadly, before we actually get into the list here, I just will say, putting this together, this looks like a pretty fun year overall.
Yes.
You know?
I literally texted you this morning and I said, I am overwhelmed by the amount of trailers I've had to watch that I still need to watch for stuff that's coming out this year, because it already looks like, I know we're approaching these forthcoming years with less Marvel and less like superhero films because they're fucking figuring their shit out.
I was gonna say, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
But it still is like the effort that more studios are now putting in to compete. God, it's so hard to be like Netflix fucking merger and then to be like excited about movies. Isn't that a weird dichotomy?
Yeah, I guess this would be the one last year that we would be excited about it, though, right? Like,
yeah.
maybe
The following year too. Maybe,
yeah. Because
depending on how it goes.
Hollywood works in like, it's like 2 years back. So like whatever's happening right now will affect summer
Yes,
or like
absolutely.
Q4 of 2027, right? Like that's sort of the landscape. The world moves fast, but Hollywood moves slow in terms of like how they adapt to things.
It's like the army.
Yeah, I mean, most large institutions take a bit to figure it out and sort of get, pick a new direction. But yeah, as I said, like this upcoming year, I should say, is like it's very, very exciting. It's got a nice birth of different things, right? Like we're getting a lot of IP stuff. There's a lot of smaller studios. We're getting a Sam Raimi film this year. We're getting a Steven Spielberg film, which has been a couple years since then. So like,
And some cool indie films coming too.
totally. And I think this is probably, as you said, let's get right into it. I think the very first film that I would like to talk about going into January is an indie film. It's January 16th. It's called Dead Man's Wire. This is a crime drama that stars Bill Skarsgård. Aaron, as we said, your film's got to have a Skarsgård if you want it to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not guaranteed that your movie will be good, but it won't be good unless it has a Skarsgård. And we've stood by that stance for a long time here. And this is a story about the real life character of Tony Critris. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Critris, who is in 1997 held a mortgage broker, Richard Hall. This is being played by Darcy Montgomery from Stranger Things. Hostage for 63 hours after falling behind on his mortgage house payments. This event was widely covered by the media, including live television, and Critsis declared himself a goddamn national hero before eventually pleading not guilty to the crime by the way of insanity. So a little side fun fact, Aaron, about this is that this actually takes place in Indianapolis, where I'm from. So, I like Bill Skarsgård. I think he probably needs a new manager based on some of the roles that he has taken as of late, but I think he is still a very incredibly talented actor. And I've been missing Darcy Montgomery in things. I feel like he's also really cool. I'm excited about this, and it's only around the corner because we're in mid-December right now. So any interest in this at all?
Not really.
Okay.
However, I do want to put on my tombstone, my tombstone, goddamn national hero. Like, I think I might get that tattooed.
Just put that on your resume, a goddamn national hero.
Yes, Aaron Knowles, a goddamn national hero.
Aaron, do you want to talk about the next one here? Because I meant to ask you, I guess before we get into it, did you end up seeing 28 years later?
I still haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this one really quickly because as someone who went to go see it in theaters, I think I'm in the minority by saying, because some people are saying this was like the best movie of 2025. I don't agree, like really at all. I have a very middle of the pack. Like there's a lot of great swings from the team over there at 28 years later, but I don't feel like it really hit the same way I think it hit for a lot of people.
Yeah. 28 years later, the Bone Temple. That's how he got married. Actually, he took Carly to the Bone Temple. That's what I call my bedroom.
Yeah.
I'm too sick for this. Sorry. January 16th, the Marvel's director Nia DaCosta is helming this project. I'm sorry. While Cillian Murphy plays a behind-the-scenes role as producer for the film. This story follows Ralph Fiennes, Dr. Ian Kelson, after the events of 2025's 28 years later.
Yeah. So some people might be excited for this. Let's move on. As I said, Sam Raimi has a film coming out January 30th called Send Help. The film stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien as a worker and her boss who become stranded on an island after a plane crash, and they attempt to survive while tension rises between them. So, Aaron, have you been seeing trailers for this? I've been seeing it in a couple films, and it looks interesting. And I don't see the Raimi in it. I don't really feel the Sam Raimi in it, but I'm still excited to see it just based on his involvement.
I actually have not seen any trailers for this. It was really weird. I don't actually remember the last movie that I saw in theater. It was Predator Badlands. And believe it or not, there was only one trailer before that movie.
You lucky dog, man. I'm so tired, everybody. I think we've talked about it here on the show a bunch, but like AMC specifically, but I would say every movie, chain, every movie theater chain. Of course, I'll go to bat for you every day, all day, but stop with the trailers. We don't need 10 trailers.
Actually, yes. No, I'm thinking about it now. I did see the trailer for this. I am very excited for this movie.
Yeah. I love the change for Rachel McAdams in there.
Yes.
Like she was sort of like America's sweetheart for a bit. I think she sort of took that role from Reese Witherspoon. And now as time has gone on, she has sort of taken these more interesting roles where she sort of gets to play, and maybe this is my own dumb hetero brain talking here, but she gets to play sort of like the hot mom,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of the era we're in with Rachel McAdams, and I'm definitely here for it.
I hate Rachel McAdams is one of those actresses that I really don't like in majority of her roles, but this one does look enticing.
Okay, interesting. Aaron, why don't you talk about the next one here?
I would, but I'm going to jump into that one. I just want to go over a couple that are in January that I am excited for.
We should probably say, yeah, Aaron brought his own list. He has like some things that he looked up himself. So yeah, please.
I like he looked up himself. He did his own homework.
Looked up himself, everybody. I'm very proud of him.
Look at him. So actually, the crazy thing about this, and again, I'll try and keep it as brief as possible, but the opening week of January 2nd, has some really three amazing films that are coming out. One is called The Plague, which is an interesting look at like hazing and the kind of the rites of passage of young men at a school. Oh, sure. Kind of have some horror vibes. It's an independent film. It looks really cool. There's The Mother and the Bear, which is about this mother who, like, her daughter, she lives in the States. She falls, she goes into a coma. The mother, who lives in Korea, goes to stay with her to take care of her, and realizes that she has no idea who her daughter has become.
Oh, interesting.
That it looks really good. And then also there's Daisy Ridley's movie, We Bury the Dead, all coming out in 1 week, which that one, it looks like an intense zombie film. I mean, talking about like 28 years later, that one looks crazy. That one actually brought a little anxiety when I did see the trailer for that one. So January 2nd, just opening up like floodgates, crazy. That's not the sound of floodgates. But
well, it's interesting. January used to be the dumping ground for movie studios to just dump whatever crap they had that they didn't feel like putting out in like November, December timeframe. But over the last, I would say 2 years, and I think it's like, that's still mostly true. You'll still get like a bunch of crap in January, but there has been, I think, much more of an effort to put out good stuff. So that's interesting. Thanks for adding those. But yeah, go on. Let's move into February here. And this is the day before. This is perfect synergy, everybody. February 13th. For this film to be coming out, I think makes way too much sense.
The last one I wanted to bring out, so I'm sorry. Well, January 23rd is Return to Silent Hill.
Oh.
That comes out.
Is that a live action film?
Yeah, I believe so.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't see that.
And so that's kind of the last one that I wanted to talk about for January. And then, so Wuthering Heights is coming out February 13th. Or excuse me, Wuthering?
Wuthering?
I don't know.
You're eating hair. I don't know.
Emerald Fennell's take on Emily Bronte's Gothic masterpiece. I don't see any eyeliner at all in this trailer, but Gothic... Stupid joke. I'm sorry. Is sure to ruffle some purist feathers. The film's Charlie XCX soundtrack trailer caused a stir the moment it dropped online, but leave it to the Saltburn director to get people talking, and maybe even picking up the classic book to compare notes. Fennell's version of Wuthering Heights, though, which stars Jacob Elordi, Margot Robbie as the story's central tragic lovers, is more of an impressionistic interpretation than a faithful adaptation novel. And I just want to throw this out there. I hate when people get too ahead of the game and start like judging an interpretation of a film or like of a novel, of an interpretation of anything, because so many things have been interpreted, that's not even a word, interpreted to the film and screen. One coming right off, which is, Leonardo DiCaprio's Romeo and Juliet, which was itself an interpretation of the classic, obviously Shakespearean story, still goes down as one of my favorite movies ever. So don't knock an interpretation.
Yeah, adaptation, I guess, is maybe a better way to say it.
Adaptation, interpretation, whatever.
I mean, The Shining. Yeah, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining also comes to mind. Starship Troopers. Those are two wildly different movies, but those are also two movies that that took the source material and just flipped it on its head. So, I love Jacob Elordi. Obviously, love Margot Robbie. I really like Saltburn. That was my favorite movie of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So, I know a lot of people had some issues with that, but I thought it had a lot to say, like, about classism in today's world, and how we can how people who on the bottom will do some crazy shit to get to the top. And I think Emerald Fennell, she's definitely not like, her filmmaking is not something that I will go to bat for, because there are definitely glaring issues. But I think at the very least, she brings a lot of interesting swings to her filmmaking. So, and I think Jacob Elordi is one of our best working actors currently. So, and Margot Robbie the same. So let's move on to a movie, Aaron, that I don't really care about, but I want to get your feelings on. On February 27th, we have Scream 7, and we have the return of Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott. She comes back to the franchise to face off with Ghostface once again, although this time she will be without the Carpenter sisters, who we know from the previous two films with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Now you have her daughter, who I don't know off the top of my head, but You're going to have Kevin Williamson, who wrote Scream 1, 2, and 4, will be replacing the directing team of the previous 2 films. So, Aaron, any interest in this next installment in the Scream franchise?
I'm going to go with no, but isn't Matthew Lillard coming back for this one?
I didn't see so I saw a trailer for this a couple days ago, and I didn't see Matthew Lillard, but I did see Courtney Cox. So she'll be back in it at the very least. And so after watching the trailer, Aaron, I leaned over to Olivia and I was like, I think this is the last dying breath of this current, like this current franchise, as the Scream franchise as it is currently. I think eventually each franchise gets to its breaking point where it's like they start throwing nostalgia at the wall to like get old fans back. But like the film doesn't have enough juice to really wow audiences. I think that the 7 here, and I could be totally wrong because I think people enjoyed 5 and 6. I think that this is the last dying breath of this current iteration of Scream. And then we'll wait for 5 years. And then like 2032, we'll get a revamped Scream franchise. I think that's like sort of my thought on it. So yeah.
It is confirmed that he will be, Matthew
Lillard
will be reprising his roles as Skeet Ulrich.
All right, Aaron, go into the next one here.
Well, the next one is March, but I want to talk about.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting. Yeah, please go into February.
Damn you.
What do you have?
You son of a bitch. Really, there's only 3 that are coming out for February. One is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which releases on February 13th. I don't know. Have you watched the trailer for that one?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, it looks fucking amazing. So it stars Sam Rockwell. And
I'm sold. I have a ticket already.
Yeah, right. So he's a time traveler. He comes back to modern day, and it's all about like AI, and like he's like trying to stop basically think Terminator, but with Sam Rockwell and his quality of like, comedy, and it just looks good. It's got a star-studded cast, man, in my opinion. Michael Pena, Juno Temple, Haley Lou Richardson, and it looks fun, but it also looks very action-packed. I want to say that's February 13th. The other one is How to Make a Killing, and this is another one with Glenn Powell.
Okay.
And basically he is a kind of an offshoot of a family. He's a blood relative of a family that is just fucking loaded, and he is kind of a failed.
Yes, Margaret Qualley's in this. This is A24 movie, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so she's like, why don't you just kill them all and inherit the money? And so it's about him hunting down like all of his family
to get the like billions of dollars that he has.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that looks really interesting called Psycho Killer, which is just apparently it's like a road trip. It's just it's a road trip to track down a psychotic killer predator. So I'm looking forward to that one. That one is February 20th as well as for How to Make a Killing.
Nice. Those are good. Yeah. Thank you for bringing up the one, especially the one. I mean, all those sound interesting, but especially the one from Glenn Powell and Margaret Qualley, because I saw the trailer for that from A24 and I was really, really excited about it.
Have you seen Running Man yet?
Not yet. I need to.
I know. I want to.
Have you? I was gonna ask if you have, but yeah, we both have. The movie has bombed, and I think part of the reason why, and like me personally, because it's Edgar Wright, it's Glenn Powell, it's Coleman Domingo, like it's all these people I really like. I've heard that it's just a really watered down version of Running Man, so no interest really until it comes out on Blu-ray.
That makes me sad, but again, I still want to do the comparison to the first one and the second one for the show. Mm-hmm. So The Bride comes out March 6th. This is absolutely one of my most anticipated. I am so looking forward to this film.
I was not expecting that.
Really? No. I am so excited. It just, again, I'll go. So after Guillermo del Toro turned Jacob Elordi into the creature in this year's Frankenstein, Maggie Gyllenhaal, or Gyllenhaal, however you decide to say it, takes a stab at her version of the classic story. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head like some of the stuff that she has done. I just know that she has directed some really good stuff. Chris, if you don't mind bringing some of those things up in a second. The Bride, Frankenstein's monster Christian Bale gets his wish for a female companion. So again, Christian Bale being the monster looks amazing. In the form of a murdered woman brought back to life, Jessie Buckley, by scientist Dr. Euphronius, Annette Bening, set in 1930s Chicago and inspired by a silent film from the era of the same name, The Bride. It's a punk monstrous love story and a musical with big dance numbers, according to Gyllenhaal. This is like, what do you call it? The Prohibition era. This is, booze runners, kind of the same time frame that we saw in Sinners.
Yeah.
And so I am so excited for this, especially I don't really like the idea. We've had movies turn into musicals, i.e. Joker Folie à Deux, which obviously I kind of enjoyed it, but I can't imagine Frankenstein doing this. But I love what this movie is looking like. I love how it's feeling already. I am so excited for this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely giving like jukebox hit kind of movie, right? Like there's going to be a dance. There's going to be at least like one dance number in this film, I think. You were talking about Maggie Gyllenhaal. She did The Lost Daughter in 2021 with Jessie Buckley and Olivia Colman and Dakota Johnson. So I think that was well received. And then she also did Homemade back in 2020, which I have not seen and actually I'd never heard of. So I mean, it's interesting. And I've seen the trailer for this. It looks good. I think Jessie Buckley is an excellent actor. And obviously Christian Bale, Jake Gyllenhaal is supposed to be in this film as well. Annette Bening. Yeah. I mean, I'm down for this. So speaking of movies I'm down for, we have March 20th, we have Project Hail Mary. This is, of course, another of Andy Weir's Andy Weir's books being adapted to film. The first being The Martian. Project Hail Mary stars Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace, an astronaut who wakes up alone on a space station with no memory of who he is or why he's there. As fragments of his memory return, he discovers he's on a mission to the Tau Ceti solar system to stop a cosmic event that has already pushed Earth into early stages of a new ice age. This film is directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, of course, the team behind Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. So this looks great. Honestly, I love Ryan Gosling. I love the directing team. The trailer for this looks really great. I'm really, really pumped about this.
I am just as excited. This is another one, an early runner for most anticipated.
Yeah.
Like of mine. I'll say this ranks highly up there as one of the most anticipated. I've been waiting on this movie for probably almost a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm so excited for it because The Martian took me, and I'll say this, took me by storm. I did not realize how good it was going to be. I own the book. I'm going to read it. I love that fucking movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah. And Ryan Gosling's one of those actors that I will watch everything he does. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I know the Fall Guy didn't do super well. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but yeah, it's still, I thought it was really fun.
Fall Guy was good.
Yeah. I thought it was really
liked
fun.
it a lot.
Yeah. Aaron, why don't you talk about this next one here?
All right, so next up we got March 27th, The Dog Stars, and then this is Ridley Scott's adaptation of Pete Heller's 2012 novel of the same name. It is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film set in the aftermath of a deadly virus that nearly wiped out humanity. The story follows a pilot, Jacob Elordi. He's getting a lot of work this year.
Jacob Elordi has been busy.
Yes, and an ex-Marine, Josh Brolin, as they face invaders and other obstacles on a desperate journey toward survival.
Yeah. It also is going to have Guy Pearce, Margaret Qualley supposed to be in it. I mean, Ridley Scott, what is he, like 94? Like, what is he doing? He's still directing movies. It's crazy.
I have no idea, but he's a man in the chair somewhere.
Yeah. Before we move on to April, Aaron, do you have anything in March that we didn't mention that you're excited about?
Actually, you fucking nailed March, my man.
Oh, that's it. Everything.
That's it. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. 3 for 3. Good deal. All right. Well, let's talk about one that I'm actually really interested to hear your thoughts on, because I know that you weren't super crazy about the first one, which is super surprising because super being the key word in that sentence. I really liked the first one, and that is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. This is obviously the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie from a couple of years ago. So Mario is heading to space, or so we think, thanks to the teaser that was released during September at the 2025 Nintendo Direct broadcast. We now know the official title of Super Mario Bros. Sequel is, again, Super Mario Galaxy Movie. So this is, of course, inspired by the 2007 Nintendo Wii title. We don't know much about the film thus far. The only thing we do know is that the returning cast is all back, and we have Brie Larson voicing Rosalina and Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. So, Aaron, you mentioned this on the grid a couple weeks ago. You saw the trailer and you thought it looked good. You still stand by that?
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna watch it because I did enjoy Super Mario Brothers the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy it. It just was not
just played really safe, right? I think you remember
exactly.
saying
that. I think that it was a safe film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for this one because again, I really enjoyed the team. I really enjoyed the quality. I really enjoyed Believe it or not, Chris Pratt acting as an Italian. So we'll see. And then Rosalina just looks badass in it. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And I think the star that's returning, like, we're all gonna die. That little, super negative star.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. I think I'm excited.
This, I think part of the reason why I love the first one so much is, as you said, it's just very quality. Like, it is very safe. Like, it is a very linear, here's the whole team, everybody kind of Mario movie. But I found it really, it's just like, it's an easy watch, and maybe I'm a cog in the system, I guess. Maybe I'm just, I'll whatever slop they give me, I will gladly eat. But
cock in the system?
A cock? A cog, Aaron.
Cog, okay, my bad.
But I just think it was really well made. Of course, Illumination is known for that. And I'm just really excited for this. I think if this is the time, if they're going to make some bold swings with the Super Mario, I was about to say if they're going to make some bold swings, they're going to do it in this movie, but I just don't think they're going to. I think that they're just going to make these movies really safely, and they're going to make $1 billion, and kids are going to love them, and we're going to watch them because we love Mario. Like, that's what's going to happen, Yeah. So
I guarantee you at some point, we're going to get a Smash Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Kids will lose their fucking mind. You know why? Because you're going to have the Super Mario Brothers group. You're going to have Minecraft group. And then you're going to have the Sonic group all together. Can you imagine what a theater filled with those children are going to be like?
Zelda is getting a movie in 2027 as well, but I think it's live action. But still, regardless, it'll at least put Zelda in the zeitgeist. And I think it would make a really easy transition to get, the team, Princess Zelda and Link and everybody into the eventual Super Smash Brothers movie. So, Aaron, let's move on to, let's see here. Well,
Michael.
I was gonna say, why don't you take the next one here? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this because I've heard some rumblings.
Yeah, so April 24th releases Michael. After a few delays, director Antoine Fuqua's Michael will finally tell the story of Michael Jackson from his Jackson 5 days to his global ascendancy as the king of pop. The singer's nephew, Jafar Jackson, is in the titular role, with Coleman Domingo playing patriarch Joe Jackson and Nia Long as Michael's mother, Catherine. The Michael Jackson estate fully cooperated with the making of the film, though there have been a few legal bumps along the way.
Well, I guess firstly, any interest in this new biopic?
I will not watch this in the theater. I have no desire to go and pay. I'll pay for it when it's on a streaming service, or I'll watch it. Did I say I'll pay for it? I'll watch it when it's on a streaming service. But other than that, not really. There's been enough documentaries, biopics, and if I want to watch something that's problematic, I'll go watch Purple Rain again.
Well, and also I think should be noted that it's Michael's daughter with, I want to say, Lisa Marie Presley, and I'm spacing her name right now, so I apologize. But she came out and has said hey, if you want a fun sort of jukebox movie about Michael Jackson, my dad, about, just his life, sure. But they very purposely avoid any real substance. I think she said something along the lines of you don't really get to know Michael Jackson in this movie. You just sort of live his life through his eyes. And that's sort of disheartening, especially as someone who I think for a lot of us, Michael Jackson, for all of his woes, and there are many, I think played a large part in a lot of our childhoods and on. And it just kind of sucks that they're juicing this as an easy sort of cash grab, if you will.
I'm going to hold steady on that kind of
totally
judgment, only because for me, they said very much the same thing about the Freddie Mercury movie.
Oh, and I agree with that stance on Bohemian Rhapsody biopic.
They did.
I did not like it.
It was not, to me, it was not as bad as they said. There was, yes, they glossed over some of the most important parts, but it was still a well done, well acted film. It's not like the one with, what's his name, Robbie Williams, Monkey Man, or whatever.
Whoa. I haven't seen it, but I don't think we should make judgments because I've heard that was pretty good.
Okay, well, I don't fucking care.
We're talking about the Robbie Williams Monkey movie, everybody, which I'm spacing the name of right now, but everybody I talked to said it was way better than it had any right to be. So speaking of good movies, though, Aaron, this is one that I'm very excited for, and I think you will be as well. Well, I'm sorry, real quick, Aaron, do you have any movies in March? I apologize. Or April, excuse me, April. Do you have any movies in April that you want to talk about?
According to the list that I have, there's a movie, a project called The Resurrected, which I think is actually supposed to be Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Ooh, okay.
And so that's supposed to release on April 17th. But I don't have much information on it other than the young daughter of a journalist disappears into the desert without a trace. 8 years later, the broken family is shocked when she is returned to them as what should be a joyful reunion turns into a living nightmare.
So this will be our fourth attempt at a Mummy franchise. Is that what I'm sort of hearing? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, listen, I love the first movie. I think the Tom Cruise one, people rag on it. And I get why, because it doesn't, he kisses someone to death at one point. But like, the point is that I thought it was decent. And maybe that's my own Tom Cruise sort of fandom coming through. I mean, Scientology aside, I think he's one of the best actors in all of Hollywood. So, or at least one of my favorites, best, I guess, can be debated. But point being is that I had a good time with it. So anyway, moving on to May here, Aaron, let's talk about this, again, the one that we're excited about.
Yeah, so disclosure, May 15th, Steven Spielberg is reuniting with David Koepp from Jurassic Park, War of the Worlds, for a new film based on an original idea from Spielberg. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
While we still don't know much about the plot, we do know that it will be a sci-fi film, yay, about a UFO starring an A-list ensemble, including Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo, that guy's working his ass off too. And Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, there's going to be, so 2026 is going to be a big year for a couple folks. Of course, we've already talked about Jacob Elordi. Coleman Domingos has a ton of films out. And then there's one other person, as we get into the summer, it'll become very clear who that is. But this is interesting. I'm very, very excited for this. When was the last time we got a Steven Spielberg film? Was that Ready Player One? Was Ready Player One the last Spielberg film?
No.
I'm pretty sure.
No.
I'm going to check it really quick before we move on. No, sorry. It was The Fabelmans in 2022. So it was Ready Player One in 2018, West Side Story in 2021, and then The Fabelmans in 2022. So I apologize. Yes. So yeah. Okay. I mean, heck yeah. I'm down for this. Here's another one I'm down for, Aaron, and one that I think you're also excited for, maybe more than most. And that's Mortal Kombat 2 on May 15th. So after the 2021 reboot of the video game adaptation, Mortal Kombat, that was we covered it here on the show. It was one of the first movie reviews we ever talked about, or first movies we ever talked about here on the show. It wasn't a huge hit with critics, but it did earn enough to get a following that has now spawned a sequel. Louis Tan returns as Cole Young, who was an original character for that film. Jessica McNay as Sonya, Micah Brooks as Jax, and Shogun co-stars Haruki Sanada as Scorpion and Tadanobu Asana as Raiden, all return to reprise their roles from the first film, while Carl Urban joins the crew as Johnny Cage. So, Aaron, I'm going to pass it off to you. Like I said, decently excited. Looks like a bunch of CGI throw up, but I will go see it regardless. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, I feel like we can't mention Mortal Kombat without mentioning the passing of the late Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, who played Liu Kang in the originals, the original Mortal Kombat film.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, he was, it has begun, finish him. It's
synonymous.
I feel bad. I'm going to say that I'm going to give you a confession. Can I confess something to you?
Please. The Oblivion Bar is your therapy chair whenever you need it.
I feel like you might judge me for this as a bad person, but as soon as I saw that he had passed, the first thing that popped into my head, fatality.
Interesting.
Does that make me a bad person?
I don't know. But I laughed. So I am a bad person by association regardless. So I'll join you in hell. Okay,
cool. But anyways, we have to remember him, an integral part of that original film.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the main reasons it was any good at all was because of his portion of that film and his dedication. Holy shit, he was dedicated to that role. I loved it. But this new one, I am obviously Carl Urban. I fucking love that guy. I'm excited for it. The first one was, in my opinion, was awesome. I have heard like a small rumor / hope from the community that following of this film that Louis Tan or Cole Young will die within the first 5-10 minutes. Because
people are rooting for that?
Yes, because he was honestly the most vanilla part of the entire movie. Like he was just not fun, and because he was an original character, which was completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
he was the introduction to the Marvel to the Mortal Kombat universe, and therefore, because now we have this, we don't need him anymore. So I'm not gonna hope for that, but I'm gonna hope for that because that would make sense to me, and it would be a good thing because we don't need him. Have freaking Carl Urban come in as Luke Cage or Johnny Cage, excuse me, and be the guiding light of this.
Well, speaking of Luke Cage, it's funny because I think Cole Young's his power is basically just the Iron Fist's powers, right? He just has like a power, like he has like a fire fist essentially.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that his like tattoos light up and he hits people with like a harder hit. Yeah. No, I mean it's one of those things where like I'll probably go see this in theaters, but I'm not expecting,
it's not gonna be an Oscar winner.
I want Kyle Urban to win Best Supporting Actor from this movie. That is my hope for 2026.
So do I.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to a movie that, Aaron, I'm not 100% sold on, and I don't know how I feel about it quite yet, but I think you may have some feelings on it. And that is The Mandalorian Grogu on May 22nd. So in lieu of the fourth season of The Mandalorian, Disney and Lucasfilms has opted to give us The Mandalorian Grogu, a standalone film that returns Star Wars to the franchise and back to the theaters for the first time since J.J. Abrams' The Rise of Skywalker, which was a giant piece of shit. Pedro Pascal reprises his iconic role as Din Djarin, alongside everyone's favorite little green Force wielder. Jeremy Allen White also co-stars in the film as Rada the Hutt, the son of Jabba, and Sigourney Weaver makes her appearance as Ward, colonel and leader of the New Republic's Adelphi Rangers, who previously served as a pilot for the Rebel Alliance. So, Aaron, I saw a trailer for this before Kill Bill, just last, was it Friday? And, again, it just looks like a very expensive episode of The Mandalorian, And if that's what you want, then I imagine this is going to be good. But I think part of the reason why I loved that first season of The Mandalorian, why I bought in so hard to The Mandalorian initially, and I guess parts of season 2 as well, is that it was just sort of like a low stakes spaghetti Western about in the Star Wars universe. And now that this franchise and this part of the Star Wars universe is getting so much larger, I feel like it's sort of lost its luster a little bit. What are your thoughts? Are you excited about this at all?
I'm mid.
Yeah.
Like lukewarm.
You're Luke Skywalker warm.
This is not really right on my most anticipated at all.
Yeah.
Only because, first off, I am kind of praying that they don't bring Gina Carano back, because apparently they've settled all the discourse between Disney and Gina Carano.
Same.
But I don't want her to come back. I just don't see the need to. I don't understand the need to have made this a feature film.
I think they want to cap this franchise off, and I think this is the way that they're going to do it. It's like, what was it? Community. They always said like they wanted to do 5 seasons in a movie. Like that's what, I think that's what they're doing here. I think they just want to kind of end The Mandalorian, at least this iteration. And I would imagine we're going to see Grogu at some point in one of these movies. Like I would be very surprised if like he doesn't show up at some point as like a teenage Yoda type, right? Because we still don't know what his species is called. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go see it. Of course, being a Star Wars fan, I will go see it. We'll probably cover it here on the show and all the things. But like, as you said, not super duper excited about this. So moving on into, let me get a quick question from you, Aaron. In May, anything interesting?
No.
That's it?
I think you've gotten everything from May, really. Yeah, I think let's move on to June.
We're getting into the summer blockbuster season. And a lot of times this is sort of saturated with a bunch of IP, if I'm just being honest. And I think we're getting into that with this next entry on June 5th. Aaron, why don't you talk about it?
Yes. Q Queen. Here we are. We're the masters of the universe. Yeah, so Masters of the Universe is coming out June 5th after nearly 40 terrible years. He-Man returns to the big screen in a new adaptation from director Travis Knight, Kubo and the Two Strings. Did you see Kubo and the Two Strings?
It's great. Yeah, it's really awesome.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Nicholas Galitzine, Jesus, that's an interesting name. Nicholas Galitzine stars as Prince Adam, who is marooned on Earth at age 10 and separated from his magical sword. As a grown-up, he fulfills his destiny as He-Man and battles for the fate of his home planet Eternia. The all-star cast includes Camila Mendes as Tila, Alison Brie as Professor Evil Lynn, Idris Elba as Duncan, and Jared Leto as He-Man's ultimate nemesis.
I was waiting for you to get to that last part because I really want to get your thoughts on that a little bit. So yeah, Skeletor. Yeah. So all that being said, Aaron, we don't have a trailer for this yet, of course. Any interest? I know you're a kid of the 80s. So like He-Man, I'm sure was probably a very important, integral part of your childhood, but like, I'm a firm believer that I don't think you need to make everything live action. So I'm not really interested in this, but what are your thoughts? Were you on board until the last sentence?
I was on board until the last part of the last sentence, because all I imagine is Jared Leto is this suit, like he has to look perfect.
Yeah.
You know, he's so egotistical. I don't know. I could be wrong. I just don't see how they're going to do him as Skeletor as a skeleton, because obviously his face, like he wants to show his face. He wants the world to see Jared Leto. So how are they going to do this? Unless there's going to be like scenes he comes to Earth and he like somehow puts on like a human face so that he can be, you know, that's all I see happening. We'll fucking see, man.
Yeah.
Am I excited for it? Yes. Am I less excited for it? Yes.
I mean, if you want to cover it here on the show, I'm happy to do it if you want to, but
we'll have to find something if there's something shitty that you want to cover.
Yeah. We'll have to trade off there.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. So going into the middle part of June here, we have the return of the Scary Movie franchise with Scary Movie 6 on June 12th. This next installment of the Scary Movie franchise is directed by Michael Tidds. It is being written by brothers Marlon, Sean, and Keenan.
It's pronounced titties.
Titties, maybe titties, Michael Titties, perhaps. Keenan Ivory Wayans, along with Rick Alvarez. This is, of course, the 6th installment in the Scary Movie franchise and serves as a soft reboot. The film it actually stars Marlon and Sean Wayans. Anna Faris returns to the franchise. Regina Hall, of course, returns. John Abrams, Lachlan Monroe, Sherry O'Terry, Dave Sheridan, and Chris Elliott. So, Aaron, let me ask you this.
Don't give a fuck.
I mean, I don't either, but I think those first 3 Scary movies were very important to me as a kid. I think that they were a great entry point into like sort of a absurdist, raunchy humor. I loved them, and I still love them. Like I watched Scary Movie 2 during the Halloween season, and I was like, this still fucking it kicks, man. I love it.
It slaps.
It still slaps. It still is on fleet because I'm laughing the entire time. He's like, take my strong hand. You know, like I get down with it still, and it's all very like offensive, raunchy humor, but I'm tickled by it. So anyway, let's move on to a complete opposite direction of my childhood. Aaron, go into this next entry on June 19th.
Oh God. I think you set this up just so you could cover the next one already. On June 19th, Toy Story 5. We're getting almost as many Toy Stories as we're getting scary movies and screams. Think about that for a moment.
Yep.
Okay, since Woody left Bonnie to help abandoned toys find owners, Jessie has led the charge in Bonnie's room with Buzz Lightyear as her second in command. However, an 8-year-old Bonnie has become enamored of her new favorite plaything, a frog-like tablet named Lilypad. Toy Story 5 is being directed by Pixar veteran Andrew Stanton, Wall-E Finding Nemo, with Greta Lee voicing Lilypad. Obviously, this is a commentary on the current state of childcare.
Yes.
And the toys that they use. So, got any toys on that, or got any games on that phone?
Yeah.
I myself am not. I didn't watch the last one. I didn't watch Toy Story 4, I don't think.
It's good. It is good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe I'll check it out. But Chris, what are your feelings on number 5?
I will definitely go see this for sure. And as two folks who don't have kids, Aaron and I, neither one of us, obviously, we wouldn't have this podcast if we had kids, I think. But it's one of those things where I sort of get it. Like, I think this was an interesting direction for Toy Story to go down because, of course, the classic toy, Slinky Dog and Mr. Potato Head and a T-Rex toy, like, or even like a cowboy and an astronaut. Like, those toys don't really appeal to younger kids anymore. Right?
Yeah. And we're losing the stars that are voicing the original toys. So it's not even the same to the adults who are watching it.
Right. I'm just wondering how long this is going to keep going. Like, that's really my biggest question. Like, I'll go see this because watching the trailer, it looks good. It's very brief, but it just the quality of the film looks great. And it's so interesting to see what Pixar's evolved from since that original Toy Story movie. But yeah, no, it's I'll definitely go see it. I don't think we'll cover it here on the show, but it's something that I think I have a very close attachment to the Toy Story franchise. So I feel obligated almost to even just go see these films. So moving on to the end of June here, we have on June 26th, Supergirl. So this is going to be the next installment in the DC universe with James Gunn and Peter Safran's interpretation. House of the Dragon's Millie Alcock stars as Kara Zor-El, a.k.a. Supergirl, in an adaptation of the comic miniseries by Tom King and Bilkis Evely, good friends of the show. We've had them both on. Well, no, sorry. We have not had them both. We've had Tom King on the show. Bilkis, I've talked to her at Comic-Con for whatnot and such. But this will serve as the latest chapter, of course, as I just said, in James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe. The story follows Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, as she travels the galaxy with Krypto, the Superdog, and eventually helps a young girl named Ruthie in a quest for revenge. Additionally, and this is a large change from the original story by Evely and King, Jason Momoa is set to show up as a revamped character in the DC universe. No longer is he Aquaman. He is now the intergalactic bounty hunter Lobo. So yeah, no, I'm interested. I'm very interested in this. I love this. I love Millie Alcock. She was great in House of Dragon. I love the storyline, Aaron. As you know, I begged you to read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. This film was actually named Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow until here recently, and it's since just become Supergirl. So yeah, I'm down. I mean, I think this is on, I don't think it'll end up being my most anticipated, but it's definitely in contention. It's definitely like top 5. So what are your thoughts?
I'm excited for it. The only thing, I'm kind of in the same place for you. It's definitely not most anticipated. I think it's going to be really, really hard for any of these Marvel or DC films to make their way back into most anticipated. They're going to have some good track records for a little while before they can make it into the most anticipated like level. However,
Superman was great, right? I mean,
Superman was great. Superman was great. Yes,
it was great. I'm not even gonna falter at that. It was great.
I just hope, I pray and I hope that there is a line by Jason Momoa as Lobo somehow referencing Aquaman.
Yeah, I think that like if it's not Vigilante from over in the Peacemaker universe, Lobo will end up being like the Deadpool of the DC universe. I would almost bet my next paycheck on that.
Yeah.
Because Momoa has great comedic timing and he is sort of this like anti-hero dickhead. So like it makes sense that they would make him sort of like the referential Deadpool.
And he kind of crosses over with like everybody.
Yeah, I'm very down for this. And I think I think what I'm most interested in seeing is just how they adjust from James Gunn's sort of view of the DC universe, because this is the first time that we're getting a property in the DC universe, this new DC Studios universe that's not from James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
Creature Commandos, Superman, and Peacemaker have all been by James Gunn. So this is the very first time that we're getting something different. It won't be the last time. We'll get something later on in this year, but like this is the first time that we'll get something different from James Gunn's vision. So moving on to July, Aaron. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have anything in June? You have anything in June that you want to talk about at all?
Nope, you got June covered perfectly. We're going to move into July 1st.
Yep.
With Minions 3, aka
Mega Millions. Nega Minions.
Nega Minions. No, it's Mega Minions. And it was originally slated for 2027, but was pushed up by a year, replacing Shrek 5's release date. So Steve Carell and Pierre Coffin reprised their roles as Gru and the Minions, respectively, though little is known about the plot. So it'll be probably some kind of comedic Avengers type superhero thing where they're like a terrible superhero group or something.
What is your relationship to Minions? Do you care at all?
No, it's one of those ones like if it's free, like to stream, I say free. If it's streaming, I'll probably watch it because I've watched all the other ones, but I have no desire to go pay money to see this.
I have no opinion or interest in the Minions or Despicable Me franchise. I watched the first one, I think, when I was younger and I liked it, but the Minions annoy me. I think that there's a certain age limit to where the Minions are interesting and funny, and I am after that or before it or something. Yeah, I'm before it. So
it's one of those things where you go into like somebody's office and it's like you're like, oh, you go to, I don't know, the DMV and you have to sit down and you have to answer a question about something that went wrong, and the lady at the computer has like Minions on her desk and she's like 65, and I'm like,
it's a personality trait. Yeah,
ma'am. Can I please speak to somebody else?
I'm going to need another representative. I'm sorry. I cannot talk to you.
Representative.
Yeah. Representative. Here's the thing. This next entry, it's so funny that we're talking about Minions 3 and Moana on July 10th before the mid-July entry, because these two entries, Minions 3 and Moana, are two movies that I just do not care about. Unabashed, just don't care. And this is coming from a place of, I absolutely adore Moana, the animated film. It is,
leave it alone.
It's perfect. It's literally
leave it alone.
One of the best Pixar movies. It's not even Pixar, I don't think. I think it's just Disney. But like, it's one of the best Disney movies of all time, in my opinion. Like that Moana scene, the third act, the final scene between her and the mountain, I can't not cry at that scene. It's perfect. So for them to push out a live action, and Moana 2 was not great. This live action does not look great. I'm tired of these live action. I hope that Disney is starting to learn that people don't want these. It seems like they're starting to learn it, but they're still putting out ones here and there. But you know, it's obviously, it's got Dwayne Johnson's going to be playing Maui, of course, and then you got Catherine Lagaara. I don't know how to say her name, but she looks like Moana. You know, like I don't know. I'm not into this. Aaron, any interest at all?
No, I'm of the same thing. I honestly haven't watched like really any of the live actions since like even the Lion King. I just couldn't get into it. I tried watching it, couldn't watch it. There was a Stitch one, Lilo and Stitch that came out recently. Didn't watch it.
Made $1 billion, but no, still didn't see it.
I have zero. I don't care. I don't care. Moana, like you said, Moana was perfect. Don't touch it. You know, it's like my drum set in my beat lap. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put my nuts. And that's what Disney said. I'm going to put my nuts on your drum sack.
Yeah. Drum set.
Your drum set. And that's what they did. Because I know Cops doesn't come on till 4.
Yeah. Why are you sweaty? Well, speaking of sweaty, Aaron, this next entry, I want you to cover it, but this is the front runner currently for my most anticipated film of 2026.
Really? I'm excited for this
100%.
So July 17th, The Odyssey. This is Christopher Nolan's interpretation. I'm not even calling it interpretation, adaptation. It brings the larger-than-life filmmaking techniques to one of the oldest surviving works of literature and one of Homer's great epics. If you don't know, it's called Homer's The Odyssey, okay? If you've never read it, there's actually a really, really fucking good one years ago that was put on. It was a miniseries on the Sci-Fi Channel. One of my favorite things to go back and watch. So good. There are reports that Nolan is using massive animatronics rather than straight CGI, which... awesome.
Love that.
To depict the story's many mythical creatures. With an estimated budget of $250 million, the film is the most expensive of Nolan's career and is first to be shot entirely on IMAX's 70mm film cameras.
Yummy.
Chris is just going to eat it up.
I love it.
The great Ludwig Göransson is composing the musical score, and this is the insane cast. Matt Damon as Odysseus, okay? Matt Damon. Tom Holland is Telemachus. All right. Anne Hathaway is Penelope. Zendaya as Athena. Lupita Nyong'o has an unknown role. Robert Pattinson as Antinous, Charlize Theron as Circe. John Bernthal as Menelaus. John Leguizamo as Eumaeus. Mia Goth as Melantho. Benny Safdie has an unknown role. And Elliot Page has an unknown role. I'm going to say Elliot Page is probably going to be, what is his name? Who's the fucking messenger of the gods? Though he has the wings on his feet. Hermes. No, not Hermes. I'm sorry. Might be Hermes. I can't remember who it is.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen or read.
I'm gonna Google this, Chris. But like, talk about how you feel about this real quick.
Oh no, I mean I'm just so excited. This is a movie that I will be there day one, and I'll probably end up going to see it 3 or 4 times. What did you get right, Aaron?
Yeah, I love getting it right.
Hermes. Then
Hermes.
Yeah.
I believe because Hermes is slightly. It's like a small, very agile, almost androgynous god, like the messenger of the gods. So I feel like Elliot Page, it could be a perfect, because their small stature, his small stature.
Yeah, absolutely. So this there's not much to say really. We don't know anything about it. We haven't seen a trailer yet. So IMAX across the country has already put out tickets for this for the first 3 days, and they sold out. Every single theater sold out that has a 70mm showing, sold out in 5 minutes. So people are very, very excited for this, and I think it's gonna be one of those ones that gets a couple of re-releases and will potentially be in the running for Best Picture and have a bunch of award hype going into the end of 2026. But moving on,
real quick, I just wanted to ask: did you happen to watch Chaos on Netflix?
No, I did not.
Okay. I want you to go and before this movie comes out, I want you to go and watch. It's like basically it's a mini series. It's Jeff Goldblum is Zeus. So imagine basically if Greek gods and like the religion, like theocracy, like multiple gods, like if Greek religion took over the world.
Interesting.
Like in modern day. So like the entire world still believed in their different gods. Okay. And it is so fucking good. It was huge on Netflix. I have no why they canceled it after the first season. No idea why.
That's what they do.
Fucking assholes. Like I would give probably one of my testicles for another season or for them to finish. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
That's how good it was. So highly recommend anybody, if you have not checked out Chaos, Kaos on Netflix, you will not be mad that I asked you to check it out. Trust me. But I am excited for this.
Yeah. All right, well, moving on to the end of July. This is the the first MCU film that we're getting this year, in 2026, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So just 2 weeks after appearing in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Tom Holland will be set to reprise his role as everyone's favorite webhead in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So Brand New Day will be directed by Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton. It's unknown whether Zendaya or Jacob Batalon are involved, but it's speculated that Tombstone will be the main villain. Matt Gargan's Scorpion will be playing a titular role. Stranger Things star Sadie Sink and Severance star Tremel Tillman are in the film as well in undisclosed roles. Speaking of rumors, John Bernthal's Punisher, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk are all set to make appearances as well in the film. I'm excited. Obviously, folks who listen to the show already probably know that. There's really not much to say about this because we don't know anything. There have been, of course, like set photos of Peter Parker swinging through a city, and the suit's slightly different. It sort of has a mixture of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suits. So and I think I don't know if we've seen his actual cowl yet, but I think it has bigger eyes, almost like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So yeah, this is exciting. Aaron, anything to add outside of that? I guess let me ask you this, just as like a sort of precursor, since there's nothing known about it yet. What do you think will be the struggle here between, why are all these folks getting involved in this film?
I think this is going to be a big jumping off point for the Spider-Man universe itself. I think this is going to not only bring it into, because to be honest, like there's been a lot less like a lot of these characters' involvement in the main MCU as we get closer to, was it Secret Wars? Like
Doomsday.
There's going to be Doomsday. There's going to be more of a pull to bring in different characters. And I feel like this is going to be kind of a bigger introduction. Like we obviously haven't had John Bernthal in any of the MCU except for
Daredevil.
The Punisher, like nothing cinematic at least. So this is going to be a pull because again, we have Doomsday, which is, you know what I mean? The one thing I did hear though, is that John Bernthal's Punisher is going to not necessarily be the same one or not this, like acting the same. He's going to be like a lighter, like less violent,
interesting.
Punisher. So I don't know how that's going to change from John Bernthal's Punisher is not even getting his own show. He's only getting like a special.
Yeah, and he's going to be in season 2 of Born Again, the new Daredevil. So yeah, he'll play roles like this. I think it'll be very similar to like what Mark Ruffalo's Hulk does in the movies. Is like he'll just show up in people's shit and do a thing. In terms of the Sadie Sink of it all, like people have been rumoring that she might end up playing Black Cat. I think that's kind of like the prevailing theory at the moment. Some people have said possibly she might be like a multiverse version of May Parker. That's something perhaps. I don't know.
I heard either May Parker or she might be like the what was it? Not Gwen.
Yeah, I think it might be May Parker, honestly. And but she's not much younger. Like I know it's funny because Tom Holland looks like he's forever 19, but like he's like 35. He's like older. So like him having like I don't know if the dynamic really looks correct if like Sadie Sink playing like a multiverse May Parker. I don't know. I could see it, but also at the same time, I feel like there might be a weird dynamic there. So anyway, there's not much known about this. I do think that there's a strong possibility that like he might end up getting the black suit in this movie. I think that he'll either go into Doomsday or Secret Wars with the black suit. That's my honest thought. So, which will eventually reintroduce Venom into this universe. So it won't be Tom Hardy. It'll be a new version of Venom. But moving on, Aaron, let's talk. Do you have anything in July?
I don't.
Okay. What about August? Because on my list, I don't have anything for August either.
Paw Patrol. I'm kidding.
I was going to put Paw Patrol on there for you, but I figured you bring it up.
No. The only thing I saw in August with it, I think there's a Cliffhanger remake.
Okay.
And then also they're finally releasing. Is it Brendan Fraser who did Coyote versus Acme?
Yes.
As the lawyer?
Yeah. Yes. I know that was one that got shelved by David Zaslav, and now they've since wanted to try to reintroduce it somehow. So
John Cena, Lana Condor, and Will Forte. It's not Will Forte is like the Coyote's lawyer or something.
Okay.
But yeah, that's finally getting a release. But other than that, no, nothing for August. That's really about it.
Okay. Well, let's go into September. Why don't you take this next one here? Again, next entry in the DC Studios universe.
This actually might be one of my this might be my most anticipated.
You do love this character.
I am such a fan of Clayface. September 11th.
Always remember. Yikes.
I hope this doesn't bomb.
All right. Let's hold on now. Let's relax.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. That was great. Good job.
Okay. After making an appearance in the animated Harley Quinn and Creature Commandos animated series, the iconic Batman villain Clayface returns to screens in his own live-action film. The film has been classified as a body horror tragedy by producers Matt Reeves and Lynn Harris. While plot and cast details have not been revealed yet, it will be directed by James Watkins, whose experience in dark thrillers like Eden Lake and Speak No Evil. I don't know if you've seen Speak No Evil, but those should serve him well here. Tom Rhys Harries will play Matt Hagen, aka Clayface in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Speak No Evil. It was not terrible.
Nope, I didn't like. I mean, yeah, I know. I remember when it came out, we talked about it briefly, maybe on the grid or something, but I didn't like it at all. The original one is great, but the new one, and maybe that's why. Maybe I just felt it felt watered down comparatively. But no, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in this. So Aaron's acting like he doesn't have a tongue right now. Spoilers for Speak No Evil, everybody. The kid has no tongue. All right,
it's in the fucking show, or
it's in the trailer. Yeah, it's in the trailer.
Like last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're very excited for this then.
I am very excited. Clayface is one of those characters that has honestly been vastly underused and underutilized and I know it's, again, I always reference back to, Tony Stark's dad. Okay. And he's always like, I don't have the technology to make this, but you do, And so like, luckily we live in a time now where there are some incredible FX artists. There are some incredible, practical effects artists. That's what I want to see. I want to see a body horror. Like it's such a tragic. Okay. So some of our friends did the Clayface One Bad Day comic.
Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing.
Yep. And I think we even didn't we talk to them about it on the show?
No, we didn't get, I don't think it had been out yet when we talked to him.
Oh, okay.
We had him on for Guardians of the Galaxy, but we talked about with Jackson at the IDW party at New York Comic Con.
I need to talk to him again because I've had some really good conversations with him, and I know I got to tell him I want to say it was at New York Comic Con. I loved that comic. It was one of the best stories about Clayface I've ever read.
Sure,
and that's something that they need to bring into this film. The desperation of somebody trying to cling to fame, and that's exactly what Matt Hagen. That's what drives him in this, and so I want this to be amazing.
Yeah, it is interesting.
The substance. Think about it's basically the substance.
Yeah. I think the substance talks a lot about like what women have to go through in Hollywood, but I definitely think there's some of that too. Where like, what will you do for fame? Like, what are you willing to do to make it? Right. I think that's something, as we talked about earlier with Emerald Fennell's Saltburn from a couple years ago. Like, there are people who will do extremely dangerous and morally questionable things to just get put in the spotlight. So I do find it slightly interesting that like Clayface, though, this is the third film in the DC Studios universe. It's about Clayface, which I would argue, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, I think Clayface is probably B tier Batman villain, right? Like, he's great. I love him, but like there are probably 5 or 6, I would say 5 to 7 other villains in Batman's rogues gallery that possibly has, a little bit of staying power. Point being is that like anything can be good, and I'm excited for this. So, Aaron, actually, I want you to talk about this next one here. Well, real quick, anything in September on your end?
Yes. So before we end September, practical. I know this is like a serious, like this. I don't take this as seriously as a contender for most anticipated. However, I did grow up in one of the movies. I mean, obviously we all grew up. But I grew up watching, like Halloween movies and magic and things like that. And Practical Magic 2 is coming out September 18th, which I know a lot of people have been waiting for.
Yeah.
As well as the new Resident Evil film is coming out September 18th.
Whoa! How did that miss me? Goodness.
I don't know how you missed that one. September 18th of 2026 is Resident Evil, which I'll just go through real quick.
Zach Cregger.
Zach Cregger, starring Paul Walter Hauser, Austin Abrams, Zach Cherry, follows a hapless courier tasked with delivering a package to a remote hospital. He soon finds himself caught in the middle of an outbreak and must fight through hordes of mutated creatures to survive.
Very excited for that.
So, I mean, Chris, add it to your list. There's another one called Forgotten Island, which is Manny Jacinto, Dave Franco, Jenny Slate. That's coming out, and this one is directed by Joel Crawford and Jenuel Mercado. Follows 2 best friends who become stranded on a mystical world of Nikali, where their only escape might cost them their shared lifetime of memories. So it could potentially, I see this as potentially being an animated film. And then Yeah, that's it for September, really. So
Okay. Well, why don't
Yeah.
you go in? I was to say, thanks for bringing up those, but I'd love for you to talk about this first entry in October because I don't have any attachment to this particular franchise, and I know you do.
I don't. But the Avatar, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender. This is going to be its newest entry into the franchise as an animated film. Okay, it's going to have Toph, Sokka, Katara, Zuko, all bring us back to the world fans love so much, taking place years after the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender and before The Legend of Korra. The film will follow the series' main cast in their young adult years, so we'll see probably that adolescent version of Aang. Marvel's Dave Bautista joins Eric Name, who takes on the role of the adult Aang as the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe expands. The love for the franchise has not diminished over the almost 20 years that it has been off screens. That's because people love the show, and you're going to crush it with whatever you're making now. The film is the first of a new trilogy. So this is them, in my opinion, squeezing that rag of it all.
That's what it kind of seems like, for sure. Like I said, no interest really, not because I don't like this franchise, but just because I haven't given it that fair shot. And I will eventually, just haven't gotten there quite yet. So let's move on to October 9th. We have The Social Reckoning. A lot has changed since Aaron Sorkin wrote the screenplay for The Social Network, David Fincher's 2010 film about Facebook's origin story. And for the follow-up, Sorkin will direct his own movie with Jeremy Strong replacing Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg. This time around, the story will focus on 2021 when the data scientist Francis Hugon, played by Mikey Madison, risked everything to blow the whistle on the social media's network secrets, including its suppression of research of Facebook's negative impact on teenage mental health, misinformation, political division. Jeremy Allen White will play Wall Street Journal reporter Jeff Horowitz, who helped Hagen. No word on whether Trent Reznor or Atticus Ross will return to compose another Oscar-winning score. So very excited for this. I know Aaron Sorkin is one of our greatest screenwriters of all time, but his directing is sort of hit or miss. So that will be interesting. But I love the cast. Obviously, everybody in this is Oscar nominated and most winners. So yeah, no, I'm very excited for this.
This is one that I'll watch at home, not necessarily excited, anticipating it for the theaters, but I'm definitely excited. Great cast. Yeah, very good cast.
Yep. All right, Aaron, here's another one specifically for you. Go on to the next one here in October.
Fight. Street Fighter, October 16th. I'm very excited for this one. So, set in 1993, estranged Street Fighters Ryu, however you decide to pronounce it, Andrew Koji and Ken Masters, Noah Centennial, are thrown back into combat when the mysterious Chun-Li, Kalina Liang, recruits them for the next World Warrior tournament, a brutal clash of fists, fate, and fury. But behind this battle royale lies a deadly conspiracy that forces them to face off against each other and the demons of their past. And if they don't, it's
game over.
Again, growing up in the 90s, I had a bit of an attachment to Street Fighter, but not a ton. I was more of a Mortal Kombat guy myself, but I know you really love Street Fighter. The cast is pretty silly. I don't know if you've seen some of the folks that are in this film, but it's
we got rappers, we got wrestlers, we got everybody and their mother.
Right-wing podcasters are in this film.
Do you remember back in the day when the WWE was putting out their own movies and it was just the entire cast was Kane and it's
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve. Oh my God, that I forgot, what was that movie called that Stone Cold Steve Austin did? It was
he was in a couple, but he's a military dude.
The one I'm thinking of, it was like Battle Royale.
Okay.
But
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Thank you for that.
Good friend of the show, David Dasmalchian, is playing M. Bison though, so that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yep. And I got 2 books already signed by him as M. Bison. But Jason Momoa is Blanca. Right?
Yeah, Jason Momoa will be a Blanca. That's my favorite Street Fighter character. So yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing: if we get a trailer and it looks good, I'll definitely go see it. But honestly, as of right now, going into the new year, not really a ton of interest. So Aaron, do you have anything in October that we might have missed?
I don't. I think you called it. Let me. There's one movie I wanted to look at was called Remain, but no. Go ahead.
All right, so moving on into November, at the end of November, going into Thanksgiving weekend, we have Hunger Games: The Sunrise on the Reaping. 24 years after Katniss volunteered herself as tribute, Haymitch Abernathy found himself the victor of the 50th Hunger Games, making him the second victor from District 12 after Lucy Gray Baird. This film sandwiches between the Ballad of Songs and Snakes and the first Hunger Games film, centering on a younger version of fan favorite Haymitch and the journey to the victor alongside the aftermath of the murder of his family by President Snow. What is your relationship to the Hunger Games franchise in 2026?
So I was actually just thinking about this the other day, and I've read the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read anything outside of that. I was really disappointed in how they finished the trilogy movies.
Yep.
Because it was nowhere near how just destructive the books were. Did you read the books?
Oh, yeah.
Man, the books were amazing. The ending of the books, I don't know how you don't stick to that for the impact. So outside of that, I have not read or seen any of the other ones. I do want to, because they do look good. I'm interested. But the fact that there are the books first, I think I'd rather read them first and then watch these. So this very, very light interest on this one until I've actually read the book.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm same. Like, this will totally escape me. I didn't even see the one with Peter Dinklage in it, the more recent one. Don't care. I'm done with this franchise for now. Moving on, Aaron, let's get into the next one here. This is one that I am actually somewhat interested in, mostly because of the directing team.
Yeah, so I'm excited as well because this came out of nowhere. Narnia, the Magician's Nephew. This comes out November 26th. C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia book series has been adapted for the screen several times since its first published in the 1950s, especially fan favorite The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I was actually just discussing recently the symbolism of Aslan, the lion, in those films. That's exactly why Greta Gerwig wanted to direct what is technically the sixth book in the series, The Magician's Nephew, though chronologically it's a prequel. By making a film about Narnia's origin story, Gerwig gets to put her own fresh take on the well-treaded material.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any like particular attachment to the Chronicles of Narnia franchise, but I will say that like Greta Gerwig, I've been a fan, for basically her entire career as a director. So I'm down for it. Whatever she's putting her name on, I'm going to be there for. So anything in November, Aaron, besides that you're interested in?
November's a very light month, to be honest. And
it is.
Not really. I want to say it's this movie called Archangel, which is directed by William Eubank, written by Chris Papasadero and Randall Wallace, starring Shea Wiggum, Garrett Dillahunt, and Bo Knapp. And it's about a weapons systems engineer and a former Green Beret who protects his Wyoming neighbors against a ruthless corporation threatening their rural community. So that one sounds kind of interesting to me, only because I like Shea Wiggum as kind of an unassuming action star. That's really the only one that I'm kind of excited about for that. December 11th is the third Jumanji, which, not gonna lie, I'm excited for.
Yeah, I was curious.
I really like the first two. Sony has confirmed that Jumanji 3 will continue the video game story with Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson, and Karen Gillan. They're all expected to reprise their roles along with Jake Kasdan as director. We don't know a whole lot about the film, but in 2023, Hart indicated that it would be the final film in the rebooted franchise. The first two were super fun. I kind of actually want to go back now and rewatch them just because I keep having like nothing but good experiences. Even with there being a Jonas brother in the film, it's still really good.
What's your prejudice against the Jonas brothers?
I'm not prejudiced. I mean, they're good. They're fine.
They're fine.
They're fun. But I love this team together. I love. It's a fun movie.
Yeah. I mean, they're very much like silly popcorn movies, and that's fine. Like when you lose Robin Williams from this planet, what do you do with a franchise that he basically carried himself? And, agreed. It's not something that I'm like going to probably be there opening weekend more than likely, but I'm definitely going to see it at some point.
I automatically go back to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And he's like, allergies, cake. And then he explodes in the marketplace.
All right, let's move on.
It's so good.
Let's move on to, I think, in contention with the Odyssey for me as most anticipated films of 2026. And that, of course, is Avengers Doomsday.
Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, as proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe, we give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
New mask. Same task. What can I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Aaron, we'll obviously definitely cover this on the show. This will be, unfortunately, this sort of lines up with right around this time where we'll be like putting together our most anticipated films of 2027 and Last Call, and like we'll be tuning down for the next year. But we have to talk about Doomsday. Like it's just, we have to do it. So, of course, as we've talked about mostly here on the show over the last calendar year, the MCU is mostly not, they're not doing it, I don't think. I mean, I don't want to sound overly pessimistic. I think that we have to be at some point, Aaron, a flag bearer for these type of movies. We got to call it like we see it, of course, but like at the same time, let's not just be overly pessimistic because there's a lot of that out there right now, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I'm nervous. I guess I was gonna be immediately pessimistic, but no, I'm just like bringing back the Russo brothers, bringing back RDJ, the insane ensemble. Think Endgame, but way more. We got the X-Men, we've got the Wakandans, we got Fantastic Four, we got the new Avengers, we got the Thunderbolts. Like it's everybody, right? And then of course you got RDJ's Doctor Doom. Like how in the world are we supposed to fit everybody into, let's say, 3 hours, right? Like that's being generous. Like it'll probably be more than 3 hours, but like, how do we do this, Aaron?
Director's cut.
We need an extended edition.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. This better not be fun. This really feels like the MCU's last ditch effort here. If this sucks, there's no going back.
Mm-mm.
I don't think there's anything going back. I think at that point, like, just fucking.
I think Secret Wars coming the next year maybe saves them. Like, if this is not good, I think people will still. It'll be bad for a whole, like, for all of 2026. But
I don't see. So again, we're gonna have those fucking plebs that go in there and they're like, "It's the greatest fucking movie of all time."
Yeah.
The same, like I literally heard. I went to an early screening of Thunderbolts and I was standing right there when somebody was like, "This is the best MCU movie I've seen yet," dude. Shut the fuck up. Like, come on, man. Like you can't expect a fucking, Christmas buffet and then walk out and be happy with like a baked potato.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I like Thunderbolts. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the best movie in the MCU, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, prospectively, there were very great things about it to enjoy, but like as an MCU film, it was not that quality.
Definitely. It was, but it was the best MCU movie of 2025.
That's true.
It was better than Brave New World, and it was definitely better than Fantastic Four. So
agreed.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, this entry, Aaron, feels like like an entry we should talk the most about, but also like a topic that we don't need to talk about.
Is this one of those things where like we know it's coming, but we like don't look at it?
Yeah.
Like there's that friend that has the weird like scar on their face, and it's like don't look at their scar.
Just don't look
so
at
everybody
it.
just don't look at it. It's like it makes him nervous, and so like you kind of avert your eyes.
I really want this to be good.
Yeah,
I really, really want this to be good. Like I think that's the most important thing to say after this conversation is like I want it to be good, and even if like the rumors are like that they're going to reboot it after Secret Wars, they're going to destroy the universe and like all the characters that died or whoever, like everybody's getting recast except for maybe like a couple people. And like, I don't know. I guess I'll end the Doomsday conversation on this. I'm nervous, as a fan of this medium, as a fan of these movies, as a fan of Dr. Doom, as a fan of RDJ, as a fan of all of it. I'm nervous. And I'm not confident. We're going to get a trailer apparently in like a week. That's like, as you're listening to this, we might already have a trailer. Like as you're listening to this, everybody, because we're recording this.
We're gonna get a teaser.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it'll be a teaser.
It's like the Doomsday fucking logo, just like walking across the screen.
It'll just be a castle with lightning behind it. That'll be the entire teaser. Yeah.
Doom.
We're recording this on December 7th, so like apparently the rumor has it, and I don't know if this is gonna happen or not, but like the teaser trailer is supposed to be attached to Avatar, Fire, and whatever. So,
which nobody gives a fuck about.
I'm not even gonna go see it. I have no plans to see Avatar.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Fire. There was water in the last one. Now there's fire. Next we're gonna have ground, earth. They're gonna have like mole fucking avatars. Who gives a shit?
I almost kind of want to like sneak into Avatar for the trailers and then leave and go to the next movie. Like
who does that?
So let's get into a movie. Like I said, I'm excited. Aaron, anything you want to say about Doomsday before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. Why don't you talk about this next one here, which this is the three right here. It is Odyssey, it is Doomsday, and it is this next movie as my most anticipated film going into 2026.
What we're talking about here is the Dune Messiah, December 18th, based on Frank Herbert's the Muad'Dib. So based on Frank Herbert's 1969 novel Dune, Messiah. Gotta finish that up. Dune Messiah. Denis Villeneuve. How do you say it?
Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve's adaptation will mark the end of the director's film trilogy based on the sci-fi book series. The principal cast from the first two films will return, and Hans Zimmer, yes, will once again provide the score.
Wong.
Yes. Though there's one major casting addition, Robert Pattinson will play the villain Scytale. Or Scytale. I think it's Scytale.
Scytale. I think it's Scytale. I don't know.
Scytale? Like scythe.
Yeah.
Yes. Scytale is a...
Good luck.
Tlaxu face dancer.
Clearly, we're not book readers, everybody.
I could read that and I'll be like, Tlaxu, face dancer who executes a plot to dethrone Paul Atreides in the original novel. Scytale's conspiracy includes a groupthink of spacing guild navigator Edric, the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mother Muhaim, and the Princess Irulan of House Carino, Florence Pugh.
So, and the rumor has it that we're supposed to meet Paul's children in this as well. So he has
twins.
He has twins. Yeah, I think it's like Leto 2
sounds
or
familiar.
something.
Sounds familiar. Star Wars.
I mean, Dune Part 2 was, gosh, I think it was my favorite movie of last year. I think it was like tied for my favorite movie last year.
I need to go back and watch them again.
So incredible. That second movie is just, it's perfection. Like Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan are like going punch for punch on best director currently. And we're all winning because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact
that
we get a Dune, it's just like 2 years ago with Oppenheimer and Dune Part 2. We're getting a Nolan Villeneuve double feature in 2026, and I am here for it, everybody. Speaking of directors real quick, Aaron, is there anything that you want to say about Dune before we move on?
I'm just really excited.
For the Muad'Dib.
Is your mother so?
Get her to sew that. Moving on, this last film, we actually don't know when this comes out, but it'll be in December of 2026. We have Werewolf. So
I'm tracking Christmas Day.
I love that because going back to Nosferatu from last year, it was a fun sort of venture going out and seeing a movie with a bunch of people who are also excited about that film. We have Robert Eggers' next horror film. I don't know if this is directly in the same universe. I would imagine it's not, but it's a lot of the same actors. So drawing inspiration from Bram Stoker's Dracula and 2024's vampire thriller Nosferatu, Robert Eggers is once again casting Lily Rose Depp in a gothic horror film about a supernatural villain. In this case, it's Aaron Taylor Johnson as the titular werewolf. And this is Werewolf, WERWULF. So early set images showed Depp with a split lip in what reportedly meant to be a 13th century England. Little else is known about the film, but it is said that Robert Eggers has called this the darkest thing he has ever written. So very, very excited for that. Aaron, my goodness, we are almost 2 hours into this episode and we have reached the end. So a couple of questions before we get out of here. Of the films we've talked about in this episode thus far, which of these films are you most confident that you think will flop?
I'm kind of thinking Grogu, Mandalorian and Grogu.
That is a good guess. I like that. Yeah. I like it. I'm going to say that's close for me too, but I'm going to say it's Moana. I think Moana's going to end up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's sort of a bad bet because like Lilo and Stitch was apparently not a very good movie and it still made $1 billion. So, kids will show out, I think. Okay. So let me ask you this. Is there a movie that you want to review on this list that you think I initially won't be on board for? What's like the one hall pass movie that you want to talk about?
Street Fighter.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I would really want to talk about that otherwise. Unless you would want to talk about it, I probably wouldn't talk about it. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Street Fighter's fine. I think the movie that I would want to talk about that you probably wouldn't want to is The Social Reckoning. The Aaron Sorkin Social Network reboot / sequel, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's a movie I'm very excited about. Again, as I said, the David Fincher film from 2010 is perfect. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a 5 out of 5. And Aaron Sorkin, his directing is very hit or miss. So, we'll see. But I do think that I'm pretty confident once we see a trailer, especially, but I'm very confident it's going to be good. So what do you think will be the best nerd specific movie of 2026?
Supergirl.
Okay. I like that pick. Yeah. I could see it being good. I don't know who the director is. You'll have to look that up while we're talking. But I think, again, Millie Alcock, I liked what I saw from her in those brief 30 seconds at the end of Superman. I obviously loved her in Game of Thrones as Rhaenyra Targaryen. So
Greg Gillespie
Okay.
is directing that one.
I think the best nerd-specific film from this year, I'm going to say, can we count Dune Messiah? Does that count as nerd-specific?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll say Dune Messiah. I think that'll be the best one. Again, jury is still out on both Spider-Man and Doomsday. So yeah, I'll say Dune Messiah. And then I guess as a final question, Aaron, what are you most excited for just overall? What's like the number one movie you're just most pumped for?
Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a while. And I can I give you my top 5 and then tell you which one it is?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so my top 5 are these. Avengers Doomsday, in no particular order. Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Project Hail Mary, The Odyssey, and Clayface.
Okay. So Clayface is the one you're most.
I just said in no particular order.
Well, I thought you were going to end with your most anticipated, like the last one.
No.
Okay.
I will say is I'm pretty sure well, there's also Street Fighter, so 6. I'm going to go with Clayface, yeah. I'm going to go with Clayface, to be honest.
Okay.
I think Clayface for me is going to be really the one that I'm really hoping is really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've been between 3. It was basically Doomsday, Dune Messiah, and The Odyssey. And I think it's The Odyssey. I'm very confident in that movie. Of course, the 70 millimeter. I think Dune Messiah is supposed to be released in 70 millimeter as well, but I think Dune Messiah, I'm just curious how he's going to end it because he's taking things from the novel, but I've already heard that like Lady Jessica's supposed to be in it, so there's going to be some deviations from the original novel. I don't know. It's very close. I'd say it's between Dune Messiah and The Odyssey, but I would give a slight nudge to The Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to throw for my runner-up is The Odyssey as well.
All right. Do you want to talk about that here on the show? Do you think that we're even knowledgeable enough about Homer and like the original source material to even talk about that movie here?
I mean, I could take the lead on that one because I've read it and I've also watched many versions of it.
Sure.
In its adaptation. So we could even do not necessarily like a review, but even kind of just a
conversation,
celebration,
yeah.
like conversation. Yeah. I mean, I think that would be kind of cool. If we don't have to, that could even be like a grid episode or something, like just a bonus episode.
Well, as we said at the beginning of this conversation 2 hours ago, that, this year, 2026, excuse me, is going to be, it's gonna be a great year. I mean, I feel very optimistic about it. Again, as we said earlier, like the looming sort of purchasing of Warner Brothers and all the other things happening in the world around us seems scary. But I think that just looking at this broadly, and obviously we've obviously missed some things as well. So like there are definitely some parts that there'll be movies that we haven't talked about in this, this episode that will end up becoming one of our favorites. Like One Battle After Another, I guarantee we didn't talk about last year in our most anticipated films. And it's my most anticipated, or excuse me.
I do really want to watch. I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list to watch.
It's my favorite movie of the year. It's a 5 out of 5. So, all right. Well, that'll do it for our episode on 2026 most anticipated films. I kind of want to split this episode into 2, but I'll probably just leave it as 1, everybody. So I apologize for the long listen, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Next week on the show, we are talking to our friend Tristan Jones, who is the artist over on Event Horizon Dark Descent with our good friend Christian Ward. Tristan has had a long, winding road, Aaron, in his career. And he goes into, like, I would say extreme detail, and one that I am very grateful for. Like, he totally showed us his underbelly and let us in on sort of where he started off in his career doing TMNT, and then eventually sort of why he left comics for a bit and why he's back. And it was really great to hear him. He's just he's a really fun person to have a conversation with, and he loves a lot of the same things that we do. So, Aaron, anything else before we get out of here? Before we get out of episode 224,
where at on your list of being excited about it is the Resident Evil movie.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't know why I keep forgetting that, but I think it's probably top 5. I would feel really irresponsible putting it above Doom Messiah and The Odyssey and even Doomsday. Like Doomsday to me feels like a larger film than that, but I could very easily see Resident Evil, especially with Kreger being at the helm. I could easily see Resident Evil being one of my favorite movies of the year.
Absolutely. That's what I was hoping you would say. Just to add a little bit something to the Tristan Jones thing is I would tell the listeners, make sure you give that interview a listen, because Tristan Jones he's not a new face in the industry, but he's an up-and-comer, and we say that he's an up-and-comer because there's a lot ahead of him already unannounced and unannounced. So I would definitely give that interview a listen, only because it will really give you something to look forward to in the coming months.
Yeah,
for some big announcements and some big information. So it's definitely a bird's eye view into the industry coming in the next few months. So definitely take a look at that one.
Alrighty, well, that'll do it for episode 224. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Aaron, take us out of here.
All right, I'm gonna do my best with my cold voice.
You really championed on through this episode, and I appreciate it.
I really did. It's been tough, but I'm a warrior. So subscribe to our podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. That's where we are. Thank you to our patrons: Alice, Aaron, Botter, Brad, Brandon, Brendan, Brett, Chris S, Chris Y, Chrissy, David, Elliot, Erica, George, Yanni, Greg, Ham6, Jake, Jeremy, Joe, John M, Justin, Kyle, Kristen, Lucy, Mac, Mike, Olivia, Ryan, I, Robert, Saunter, Scott, Sebastian, Sean, Travis, Tyler, Zach, and Brad and Lisa. Woo! Fucking nailed it. If you want to support the show without spending any money, a follow on your preferred podcasting platform. And I'm on my hands and knees right now. A 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please. Helps the show.
Please.
Baby, please. Follow us on Blue Sky, baby, please. On Instagram, TikTok, at Oblivion Bar Pod. Official merch of the show. I'm sick of dying. Follow the show. Reviews. Official merch for the show is on our website, oblivionbarpodcast.com. Hey, Aaron, how come you don't pre-record this?
Yeah.
Big thank you to Oni Press and Endless Comics, Games, and Cards for sponsoring the show. Thank you, KXD Studio, for all of our Oblivion Bar art. I'm going through fucking bar art. He's at KXD Graphics on Instagram. Thank you, Dream Kid, for all of our musical themes. Thank you, DJ Skyvac, for our grid theme. And last but not least, don't forget to tip your bartenders 20% or more, or I will cough into your coffee and get you sick as well.
Heck yeah, that's right. Build up that immune system. All right, everybody, thank you so much.
Boost that immune system, boy.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. We will see you all next week for episode 225.